So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the January 30th, 2024 meeting of the Calvert County Board of Commissioners. At this time, I'd like to ask Bishop Patton from the Calvert Lighthouse Church in Prince Rite if he would come forward and give us an invocation. Good morning, sir. Thank you.
Good morning. Will you bow your heads with me as I pray? Thank you, Lord, for those of us who have gathered here today. Lord, we thank you for the many and abundant blessings that you've given to us. We thank you, Lord, for life itself. We thank you for the measure of health that we need to fulfill our callings, for sustenance and for friendship. You've established this Board of County Commissioners, God, to promote peace, order, and justice. Therefore, I pray that this board assembled here, Lord, and for the various levels of office officials, I'm asking that you would grant them wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our time. Give them a sense of welfare and true needs of our people, a keen thirst for justice and righteousness, confidence in doing what is good and fitting, the ability to work together in harmony even when there's honest disagreement, peace in their lives and fulfillment in their duties. And I pray, God, today for the agenda that's set before them. Give an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around Calvert County. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Bishop. Appreciate it. I only have, first item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. Is there any changes to the agenda as presented? If not,
Motion to approve?
Second.
have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Have a one public service announcement today. February is Black History Month. So we want to take this opportunity to recognize the input that the, the rich heritage and the integral role of African Americans have played in America's history during this time. From Harriet Elizabeth Brown, who fought and won equal pay for black teachers in the county, to the Wallville School, the oldest one-room schoolhouse for African American students in the early 1800s. So just want to make sure that during this month we take a little time to think about the role that they've played in the rich history of this county and this country. Concludes my public service announcements for today. First item on the agenda is an award from the Employee Recognition Committee. Good morning, Wes.
Morning.
Good morning, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Wes LaPrey from the retired member of the Employee Recognition Committee, and I'm here today with what we call a Pride and Quality Award. Normally, we do a monthly Employee of the Month award, and this one spoke a little differently to us, so we thought we would attack it as a Pride and Quality Award. The Pride and Quality Award recognizes employees for superior job performance that results in greater efficiencies, in particular, saves time or money for the county. In addition, Pride and Quality Awards can be given for extraordinary public service or a positive impact on the public and the perception of our government. Today's award recognizes Ashley Greeley from Economic Development. Ashley, could you make your way up forward? Over the past year or so, Ashley saw a business need to provide county services faster and more consistently. To do this, she performed a workflow analysis, high-tech words that project managers like myself use all the time, a workflow analysis of the Economic Development Department. She watched how business was being done, how the existing software, researched the potential options, and collaborated with other stakeholder departments like procurement, technology services, communications and media relations, and so on, and identified a new software application that integrated many functions into one product. The effort increased staff's ability to track projects and deliver exceptional customer service. The team deployed HubSpot software, which is a customer relationship management tool in the industry today. HubSpot has many modules, including marketing, customer service, web and business lead development features, and others, all designed to tap the speed and reliability of the internet and keep contact with our customers. Ashley demonstrated remarkable initiative and ensured that the software aligned with the department's goals and was easy to use. New software applications are very risky because they involve change. Change to the office staff, change to the technology, change to the technology providers, and change to the customers, particularly ones we don't even have yet. Finally, Ashley recognized that a new software solution requires adaptation and change management. So she coordinated training sessions and continues to provide hands-on assistance, and her continued support has played a pivotal role in successful deployment of these new tools. With this project implementation, Ashley is being recognized for her outstanding analysis, her cost consciousness approach, and the team-building skill within the Department of Economic Development. We thank Ashley for her extraordinary effort and for being part of the reason that Calvert County is an awesome place to live and work. Finally, Commissioners, thank you for your continued support of the Employee Recognition Committee and for giving us a forum to recognize Calvert County government's truly exceptional workforce. Ladies and gentlemen, Pride and Quality Award for the project in economic development, Ashley Greeley.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Julie Oberg. I'm Director of Economic Development. I nominated Deputy Director Sheba Smith, and I nominated Ashley for this award. And on behalf of our entire team, I'd like to thank the Commissioners and the committee for recognizing Ashley for this award. Ashley's led our team in this transition to a new customer relationship management system. She did all the research on all the best companies out there, collaborated with several county departments, and organized extensive training for our staff. She recognized the need to improve our efficiency in communicating with each other and building relationships with our clients, which are the businesses here in Calvert County. Change is always hard, and she's been an amazing cheerleader for this project. She's so very knowledgeable and talented and has helped everyone feel comfortable and capable using the new system. I'm really proud of Ashley's efforts and our entire team for taking this leap together. So congratulations, Ashley, on this well-deserved award.
Congratulations, Ashley. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So next on the agenda is another award from the Employee Recognition Committee for Team Excellence. Wes?
This one is near to your heart, I'm sure.
It is.
The Home for the Holiday celebration that brought new life into our county. Well, the consensus among the county was that there ought to be a Team Excellence Award for this. Despite the number of people, we had, I think it was 81 names through many departments, and I'll go through those. But the Team Excellence Award acknowledges and recognizes employees who've excelled in a group setting, a team setting, and displayed cooperation and teamwork in support of a common goal or project. And it had to have exemplary results or it would not have been noteworthy. Today we're recognizing the team effort that brought us the Home for the Holidays celebration on 9 December 2023. This was a successful event which brought Commissioner Hance's vision to bring a holiday festivity to our county seat and foster economic development and enhance small-time charm of Prince Frederick. 81 employees of Calvert County government participated in this celebration. The size of this team would definitely have an effect on the services provided to our citizens, customers, and partners, and in fact, many offices would have had to close if they had to come here to receive the award. So instead, we've asked the department heads to present the award elements at an appropriate time. They can pick them up at the commissioner's office. This exceptional team effort was planned over the past year through monthly meetings across 5 county departments, probably more than that, and the sheriff's office as well. Several highlights included, number 1, a parade. The team worked with the Calvert County Optimist Club and the Calvert County Fair Board to bring back the Christmas parade with a wide range of participants, captivating floats, and engaging performances. A second highlight, merry activities and more at the Linden House. The team coordinated with the Calvert County Chamber of Commerce and the Calvert Historical Society to secure a variety of local vendors, food trucks, and holiday activities. This provided a platform for local businesses to thrive and attracted visitors from neighboring areas, contributing to a boost in our economic activity. Number 3, a festive family fun event at Kings Landing Park, or at King Park, right around the corner. The team went above and beyond to create a magical experience for our youngest community members, including photos with Santa, live music, games, arts and crafts, inflatable slide, and an iceless ice skating rink, leaving a lasting impression on families and all the young people. The team also coordinated with the Calvert Arts Council on special activities. Number 4, the Christmas tree, the courthouse Christmas tree. The lighting ceremony was the crowning moment of the day and was the Christmas tree lighting ceremony at the courthouse, in which the team created a heartwarming communal event complete with children's theater of Southern Maryland carolers, of course Santa, and the obligatory hot chocolate and cookies, bringing together residents and visitors alike in a spirit of celebration. The luminaries. The team coordinated with Huntingtown High School, the National Honor Society, to organize volunteers to set up luminaries from the Church Street activities to Main Street and the courthouse. And finally, the live broadcast. The team successfully conducted a live broadcast of the parade and tree lighting ceremony on the Calvert County YouTube channel. This had a tremendous impact on the county and the community. The team's efforts were not just about creating a festive atmosphere, but also had a profound impact on our community. Community unity. The events brought together more than 1,000 people from all walks of life, fostering a sense of unity and camaraderie that resonated throughout Prince Frederick. Economic development. By attracting visitors and promoting local businesses, the team played a crucial role in stimulating economic development, contributing to the growth and prosperity of our town. Positive public relations. The success of these events has garnered positive attention for Calvert County government, positioning us as an integral part of the community that cares about its residents and contributes to their well-being and quality of life. The dedication, creativity, and tireless efforts exhibited by the Home for the Holidays team in orchestrating this series of holiday events are hereby recognized and celebrated. Their contribution not only brought holiday cheer to our community, but also had a lasting and positive impact on the local economy, creating a new tradition for the community. Their collective efforts exemplify the spirit of collaboration, innovation, and community engagement that we strive for in Calvert County government. And I know this will be long, and there's no other way to do it, but this is a Team Excellence Award, so we need to read the names. So from the 81 names, we'll start with Parks and Recreation, who had 43 participants in this event. So Linda Jones, Nate Smith, Emily Sullivan, Victoria Boschert, Erica Love, Brian Lusby, Paul Lundberg, Sandy Abel, Taylor Morton, Joy Weir, Kirsten Perry, Robert Branham, Lydia Wells, Karen Molinas, Jesse Oberwright, Edwin Rohn, Douglas Chance, Tyler DeVries, Coretta Wills, Norman Adams, Kim Butler, Wilhelmina Dorsey, Karen Brinegar, Rochelle Jones, Tiffany Wagenhagen, Van Wagenhagen, Brenda DiCarlo, Lynn Taylor, Julie Leach, Paulette Gray, Stephanie Crowder, Josephine Cobby, Troy Hawkins, Brooke Bartko, Carrick Wilds, Stephen Harrod, Ricardo Tatel, John Thomas, John Buckmaster, Mary Johnson, Brian Sunderland, Matthew Owens, Tommy Adams, and Troy Weekly. 10 people from Economic Development included Sheba Smith, Hillary Daly, Grace Fadley, Kathy McAdams, Sarah Fry, Carolyn Trosbach, Sandra Staples, Rose Krell, Nicole White, and Keiko Nash. 10 folks from Community and Media Relations, Jennifer Sterling, Kevin Schmidt, Terrell Gross, Daryl Baxter, John Bennett, Lynn Dye, Jess Ruckelman, Rosalind Polidora, Sarah Amon, and Julie Yingling. From Planning and Zoning, Olivia Vedato. From Public Works, 14 folks, including John Atkins, Tim Shorter, Casey Dillard, Phil Freeman, Wes Phoebus, Joe Denton, Cornell Johnson, Adriel Godfrey, Ben Wood, Francis Harrod, Roger Buck, John Nice, Jerwayne Brooks, and Sean Sprouse. And from the Sheriff's Office, 3 folks, Tom Phelps, Roscoe Krebs, and Jason Dean. Congratulations to this rather large, and couldn't have done it without them, a team for the celebration that you brought to us in December of 2023. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, I'll keep this really quick. Again, Julie Oberg, Director of Economic Development. I was the one who put in that nomination, so I guess you have me to thank for that lengthy introduction. And this really did all start with Commissioner President Hance's vision to bring holiday festivities to Prince Frederick and foster economic development and enhance our small town charm here, and really to create the Hallmark movie type feel. And I think that I'd like to thank the 80 employees who really successfully brought that all to be, and I'm really proud of that effort. I'd especially like to thank the amazing core team of county staff and community business partners that met over the entire last year, every month, to pull that all together. And we also heard the message loud and clear to make it bigger, better next year. So thank you for your support for this, and thank you.
So, I just want to say that, unfortunately, I couldn't be here. So, Commissioner Grasso got to be the Grand Marshal of the parade, and I hear there were several thousand people in Prince Frederick. And I have to give Director Nizal credit. You know, about 3 years ago, they started the little festival up at Kings Park, and the employees got together and planted a tree, and I had this crazy vision one day, we can do better, because I tell everybody what a great community Calvert County is. You know, we care about each other, we respect each other, and that Christmas is that one time a year where you can kind of put aside all your differences and you come together, and that I just felt like we should take a day and just celebrate the community spirit that we have here. And did have, Julie mentioned Hallmark, had a gentleman said he happened to be in Prince Frederick that day, and he called home and told his wife, said, "You got to get to Prince Frederick, it's Hallmark in Prince Frederick." And so just want to thank Jake's Prudos down on Brooms Island Road for donating our tree out in front of the courthouse, the Calvert Garden Club for doing all the decorating around the courthouse. This year we threw in a parade, the Fair Board, Calvert County Fair Board, and the Calvert Optimist helped coordinate that event. We had 80 entries into the parade, I think, that day. I did get to see a lot of pictures and a video. So, and as Julie mentioned, you know, we always have ideas to make it bigger and better next year. But, you know, as you see, it takes a village, and people say, well, you spent a lot of time. Well, we did spend a lot of time, but, you know, it's not all about getting a financial reward or, you know, making people safer. You know, it's about bringing a community together. And it's that one time a year where we did that. And next year, we're hoping to have 4,000 people in Prince Frederick and celebrate the holidays. And again, I can't say enough to staff and our citizens who all pulled together and made this happen. You know, I'm looking forward to next year. I've got it on my calendar to make sure I'm here next year for it. So, again, on behalf of myself and the rest of the commissioners, we greatly appreciate all the efforts of the staff and those citizens that pulled this off, and we look forward to next year. So, thank you. And everybody's going to get a mug, Christmas mug, that helped pull that off. So, thank you all very much. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, I guess that brings us to appointments. Oh, wait a minute. Are you going to take a picture?
Yeah, do you
Bring
want
the
to take a
department
picture
heads
with
up.
the department heads?
You have
That
department
way we
heads?
Staff, yeah. If all the department heads would like to come forward, we'll take the picture now.
Katie keeps us straight, as you can tell.
Ricky, coming up?
Ashley, where's Ashley? Ashley, you can represent our office. You did the work. You did.
Making sure everyone,
Wonder what
did
Jared's
everybody
beard
blink?
look like. She's here.
Push your gas a little and hit some scoops. All right, thank you so much. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Great job, everybody. Thank you.
It was great.
All the mugs and certificates are in the office. Yep, so all your stuff is in the office.
Next year.
Don't forget your mugs.
I'm going the opposite.
Don't forget your mugs in the office. Don't leave mugs in the office with your name on them. Who you on them?
Next item on the agenda is appointments. Miss Ashley?
Good morning, Commissioners. Ashley Staples Reed, Special Projects Program Manager with the County Administrator's Office. We have 6 sets of appointments up for today. First up is going to be the Board of Library Trustees. They do have one vacancy due to a term expiration, and the Board of Trustees is asking that you accept their recommendation and appoint Renee Liberator.
I move that we appoint Renee Liberator as a member of the Board of Library Trustees.
Second?
A motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, next up is for the Animal Matters Hearing Board, and staff recommends that you reappoint Laurel Matthews, Thomas Phelps, Deputy Thomas Phelps, and Dawn Schonkweiler, as well as appoint Jacqueline Vaughn.
I move that we appoint Jacqueline Vaughn as a citizen member to the Animal Matters Hearing Board and reappoint Deputy Thomas Phelps as a deputy member, Dawn Shonkweller as a citizen member, and Laurel Matthews as the Animal Welfare Rescue Group affiliation member.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, next up is the Commission on Aging, which has 2 vacancies due to resignations, and staff requests that the board review the applications received and appoint 2 members.
I move that we appoint Loretta Grier and Amber Yates to the Commission on Aging.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next up is the Architectural Review Committee for the Lusby Town Center, and staff recommends that the board appoint James McQueen.
I move that we appoint James McQueen as the business owner located within Town Center, member of the Lusby Town Center Architectural Review Board.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, next up is for the Building Board of Calvert County. There is 1 vacancy due to a term expiration, and staff requested the board reappoint Michael Gray to that.
I move that we reappoint Michael D. Gray to the Building Board of Calvert County.
Second?
Motion, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and last up is the Adult Guardianship Review Board, which currently has 4 vacancies due to resignation and term expiration. And they are requesting that the Board of County Commissioners appoint Dr. Sylvia Baton to fill the position vacancy.
I move that we appoint Sylvia Batong as a physician member and reappoint Kimberly H. Lund as a public health nurse member of the Adult Guardianship Review Board.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That brings us to consent. We have 2 items under consent today. Department of Planning and Zoning Letter of Support, Best Management Practices, Efficacy Research Proposal. Item 2, Office of the County Administrator, Agreement with Calvert Library, Fiscal Year 2023 Maryland Connected Devices Program. Are there any objections to the 2 items presented under consent today?
I have none.
Hearing none, those items will be adopted as presented. We're gonna have to go to new business.
Okay.
Item 1, Department of Finance and Budget, Public Safety, Fiscal Year 2025, staff recommended capital improvement plan. Director Miller. And Veronica. Good morning.
Good morning. I have the easy job. I'm going to introduce Veronica, turn it over to her so she can present the information. Veronica?
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Veronica Atkinson, Capital Projects Analyst with Finance and Budget. I'll read the memo. The Department of Finance and Budget and the Department of Public Safety will present a review of their proposed fiscal year 2025 6-year capital improvement plan, or referred to as CIP, to the Board of County Commissioners. Discussion. The Department of Finance and Budget reviewed the Department of Public Safety's FY 2025 through FY 2030 6-year CIP staff recommended budget amounting to $81,710,720. The Department of Public Safety covers various components such as the detention center, career EMS, fire rescue, and emergency medical services requests. Additionally, the Department of Public Safety's proposals incorporate the replacement of 2 firehouses, St. Leonard and Solomon's, and a request for the development of a new public safety facility. Fiscal impact. The fiscal impact for the Department of Public Safety 6-year CIP proposed budget reflects $81,710,720. This amount includes $2,750,000 in state grant funding for the detention center project in FY 2030. The funding is broken out below. Pay-go or general fund is $19,144,720. Debt or bond is $59,816,000. Grant other is $2,750,000. Total funding request, again, is $81,710,720. Conclusion recommendation. This presentation is to prepare the BOCC for the 6-year capital improvement plan cost for the Department of Public Safety and seek the BOC's direction on those projects. Our first slide is just a quick overview. We'll go through the 6-year breakdown of costs by agency, and then we will look at the FY 25 breakdown of cost. We will review each project, focusing on FY 25, and review the CIP FY 25 expenses and revenues. This is the 6-year CIP for public safety. Detention center, $6,690,000. Career EMS for their apparatus is $8,630,396. I do want to note that at the last minute, Career EMS has reduced that amount on the 6-year to $7,119,396. They will talk about that during their portion of the presentation. Emergency Communications, $1,513,324. Fire, Rescue, and Emergency Medical Apparatus, $14,377,000. Fire Rescue, Public Safety's New Facilities, $50,500,000. That total is $81,710,720. With career EMS reduction, the new total would be $80,199,720. FY '25, the detention center is not requesting anything. Career EMS, again, they started at $1,633,000. They reduced that amount to $232,000. That is pay-go money. Emergency Communications, $1,513,324. Fire Rescue, Emergency Medical, $1,940,000. Fire Rescue and Public Safety's New Facilities, $12,500,000. The new total would be $16,185,324. Sorry, thank you. Our first presentation will include the detention center. They're asking for a chiller replacement, air handler unit, and booking area improvements, which would be out in FY 2030. FY 2026 is their chiller replacement, 27, and then their air handler unit would be FY 2028. Do you have any questions for the detention center this morning?
How long has that chiller been in use?
2014.
Is that the normal life expectancy of a chiller?
I'm not sure what the normal life expectancy is, but we run ours 24/7, 365. If we don't do that, it gets very humid inside there because of the cement construction and the people that live there around the clock. So just keeping the humidity down is the primary job of those chillers in the wintertime.
And that's only $50,000?
That might be the actual A&E. The project, if it's as big as we think it will be an upgrade in the size of the chillers. There are 80-ton units right now. We're looking at maybe possibly 100-ton units. If we do that, we may have to go into the plumbing of the jail to handle the extra capacity. And that's the reason why this has got such a high price tag on it. But there is some engineering that's required there.
So the 50,000 is A&E and the 1.1 is estimated replacement?
Yes.
So I thought you talked about some booking improvements.
The booking improvements are for FY 2030. That's a project that has actually been on the books for years. We just keep carrying it for the State Department requires it, so it's out there if we ever decide we want to tackle that project.
That's why we always joke you write CIP in pencil, not ink.
Yes.
So they proposed it for 2030, but there's no dollar amount in 2030, at least on my sheet.
5.5.
Oh, no, there it
Yeah.
is. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I was like, oh my
I didn't go down
goodness.
far enough. Sorry.
It's out there.
It's out there. Okay. And the 1.1, that's based on upgrading to 100 tons?
Well, twin 100-ton units as I'm aware of, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Good. I
Thank
think
you,
we're good.
Kevin.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Our next item is career EMS apparatus. As you know, again, they had reduced that $1.6,333,000 to $232. Do you have any questions regarding their reduction?
Yes, I do have one question. So
We have career EMS apparatus, and how does that compare to an ambulance? Chief, because I see on the other funding, we have ambulance 1918, but this one here says apparatus. What, is it the same, different, or what is it?
Good morning, Commissioners. Ken Miller, Division Chief, Career EMS. So when we list apparatus, the only apparatus that we carry is a transport unit and a chase car. So we're either referring to a chase car model SUV or referring to an ambulance. The current year that we're talking about, 2025, had a cost of 2 transport units in it. Those were actually replacements, not new purchase. So that's why we were able to cut them out. Also, looking at the current apparatus, we looked at the overall mileage. The mileage isn't exactly high. So therefore, we were able to talk to Mr. Sypa. Mr. Sypa's recommendation was that even though the overall maintenance cost is slightly increasing, he could probably postpone it a little bit, so we deferred those 2 units.
So these are 2 new chase units?
No,
They're
sir.
not replacements?
No, sir, they were 2 replacement ambulances for the first 2 units that were bought.
What's left in? What's left in?
What currently is left in is 2 cardiac life monitors, life pack monitors, which are roughly $95,000, as well as 1 chase car for the jurisdictional medical director. The jurisdictional medical director has been instrumental. He was originally given a vehicle by the Volunteer Association through CALS, Calvert Advanced Life Support, and they have since taken that vehicle back and denied him access. So we're working on getting him a vehicle because he does go out in the field and run calls with our providers.
And why did they do that?
I can't answer that question, sir. The only thing I was advised, they needed to put it up for sale.
Do what?
They needed to put it up for sale.
Is it a county vehicle?
No, that particular vehicle was a department purchase vehicle, sir.
Gotcha. And it was a 1 chase unit, 1 piece of equipment, what did you say, a monitor?
Yes, sir. So what's left in it, my apology, Commissioner, what's left in it is 2 cardiac life monitors, which are the cardiac devices, and 1 chase vehicle for the jurisdictional medical director, which will be a SUV.
Gotcha.
And that's fully equipped as well with all the equipment that will go with him so he can function out on the street.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
And who are you?
Excuse me, Public Safety Director Dave McDowell.
Okay, we'll move on to the next slide. This slide is for volunteer fire and rescue apparatus.
Veronica, before we move on, I do have one more question to
Oh.
slide 5. So the accountability system, and that's for all the firehouses, is getting that equipment.
Are all the firehouses getting the equipment for, I'm
The
sorry,
accountability system.
that thing's not working.
Well, we just blew it up.
Yeah, I just clicked all the way through.
He's fixing it. He's gonna take you back to Fox. There you go.
Thank
There you
you,
go.
thank you. The accountability system, and you're asking if, I'm sorry, I totally missed that
So
one.
is that
Thank
for
you.
all fire stations getting that capability? So we're not leaving nobody out?
Good morning, Commissioner. Stanley Harris, Division Chief, Emergency Communications. So the accountability software is for all the departments. It stemmed from the fire department's looking at the line of duty deaths over the last handful of years in Maryland, and a lot of the recommendations that came out of those reports was the lack of accountability for the fire department personnel on the scene. So we looked at Motorola. That project we have to upgrade all the radios that are currently in the fleet, as well as put additional radios, MDTs, and software in every chief's vehicle for all the fire departments.
Okay.
So how's the system work?
So the system, it gets a mobile radio installed into the vehicle. That vehicle talks to the radio system. Every fire department personnel on their portable, when they're in the fire department or in the house fire, that system would report, or that radio would report back to the system. So they would be able to see what channel that radio is on. You would be able to see when that radio declares an emergency. It also ties into their air pack system, so the chief officer on that call could see how much air is left in that firefighter's air system. It also allows the incident commander to send alerts to the fire department personnel inside the house fire. So if they needed to declare an emergency or other alerts, they could send that through the radio system to those firefighters.
So the chief officer has to be in his vehicle to see this information?
Yes, so that would work through the computer system that is currently in the chief's officer, or would be installed into the chief's officer's vehicle. They have plans to renovate or retrofit some of their vehicles, and Chief Clark could talk a little bit more on how they plan to use that operationally if you have questions.
Chief Clark. Put you to use since you're here.
Yeah. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Michael Clark. I am the appointed Calvert County Fire Chief by the Volunteer Association. What questions do you have, sir?
So, SOP moving forward, the chief's officer is never going to leave out of his vehicle?
So the SOP that we have just implemented, the Calvert County, the first arriving fire chief is to remain in his vehicle upon completing a 360 report. The second incident commander is to take interior safety, and the third incident commander is supposed to be an aide to the chief in his vehicle. That's basically the accountability officer. The big thing for us is that we have seen Baltimore City has killed 5 firemen in the last 3 to 5 years. We've obviously had the St. Mary's County death as well. All of those have had accountability issues. It's either the incident commander is ordering evacuation and the people are not hearing them on the radio, or people do not know that people are on the scene of a fire. Baltimore City, some of those guys, that fire occurred at shift change. So the company had 8 people, 6 people, whatever, on the fire truck. There's only supposed to be 3 or 4. What this system does is as soon as Stanley turns his radio on, it'll say Stanley Harris is on engine 21. Stanley Harris goes inside. I can track his every movement. I can track what riding position he's at, and I can track his air, like he stated. If I need to order an evac, I push a button in my chief's car. It sends an alert to his radio, and it screams, evacuation, evacuation, evacuation. Until he keys the mic up to acknowledge that evacuation, it's going to keep going off. Once he keys that mic up and acknowledges that, I will know the thing will turn green, and it'll say Stanley Harris acknowledged the evac order. So I know that he's accounted for and out of the building.
So every individual on the scene now has a Motorola radio in their possession?
Currently, right now, yes, everybody on the scene has a Motorola radio.
Good Lord, things have changed.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, okay.
The current system we're using is what you're familiar with from back in the day, still pad tags and pieces of paper. That's
Yeah,
what we're
back in
currently
the
using
day.
right now. Yes, sir. So,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Thank you. I just didn't know the system.
Yep. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay, moving on. Public safety is the volunteer fire and rescue apparatus request. We have Jim Richardson here today. If you have any questions about any of the department's requests.
So, as I look at this chart, so the 8, never mind. I'm thinking out loud. I should never do that.
Good.
I'm good with company.
Here's the next slide, finishing down to St. Leonard Fire Department and their requests. Dunkirk, Huntingtown, St. Leonard. Our next slide is same thing. This would be Calvert Advanced Life Support request and the Calvert Rescue Dive Team request. This is a good one.
So this is all personnel on slide 8.
The 128,000.
No, that's for medic unit.
Yeah, it's all for equipment.
So that's all equipment.
So I was thinking out loud, it might be a little helpful if in the category 25, I know you've got the replacement medic the year beside it, but over in the chart, it might be helpful if the 128 was across from it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yep, no, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And you break it out below.
Yeah, when you look down the chart, it looks like, you know what I'm saying? It would be a little
I
easier.
understand. I got it. I'll take
I'm
care of
slow.
it.
So where it says Calvert Rescue Dive Team, replace dive rescue, that's equipment.
Yeah, replace dive rescue number 12.
Yes, that's equipment.
Yes, ma'am. not exactly can go into a detail about what piece of equipment that is, but
Somebody here from the dive team? Jim? Do you know what that is?
Yes, Commissioners. Jim Richardson, Division Chief, Fire Rescue EMS Division. That's actually currently like a Sprinter type van. It's a dive rescue unit. All these, Commissioner Grasso, are apparatus, so that's a Sprinter type van. They may change, essentially the design based upon their current needs of towing vehicles and stuff like that, but essentially it carries all their dive rescue equipment, or a good portion of it. Air cascade and stuff like that to operate for extended time on scenes.
So what is Medic 103?
It would be an SUV, most likely, an SUV or a police package style pickup truck. I think they have a couple of those now, that they four-door pickup trucks that they're using. Those are Medic chase vehicles.
So am I looking at this chart right? The Medic unit and the dive team unit both cost the same thing?
They're funded, their recommended funding is at the same level, essentially, based upon the allotment standards that are approved.
So the Medic unit is a Suburban?
Usually a Suburban or a Tahoe type SUV, completely outfitted.
And what happens to the old ones?
If it, according to the grant agreement, if it's being replaced, those funds need to be placed back into the replacement vehicle or equipment for those vehicles. And those funds are segregated by the departments and maintained for replacement vehicles to help support that.
So do you anticipate this, I'm sorry to focus on this Medic unit, but it is what it is. So 128 won't fully equip the Medic unit?
I don't know exactly how much that would be. I think based upon previous fiscal years, it should be able to do that.
So then whatever they get for the resale is just theirs?
Well, no, it has to be segregated for either other apparatus, but that's based on that 1997 agreement.
Other apparatus meaning?
Could be equipment for other apparatus or additional funds to replace apparatus. Only time that money
So
is
if we're-
free, the only time that money would be free and clear to them is if that vehicle was not to be replaced. Say if it was taken off an allotment and no longer going to be kept, Medic 105 was going to drop off and we're not going to have a Medic 105 anymore, then those funds would be, any resale of those funds would be free and clear to them.
But if we're fully funding replacement, there's no need to put more funds in that piece of equipment unless I'm missing something, right?
Correct. The resale value is what the market will bear. I mean, most of the time, especially with the Medic units, they're extremely high mileage. In fact, in some occasions, they've been gifted to other less fortunate departments. I think the dive team actually got one of their old Medic units before, and that's how Calvert started out years ago with a used vehicle from Charles County.
I'm just trying to understand our funding formula because as Chief Clark, I go back in the day where the county didn't fully fund equipment and we had to put money into equipment because the county didn't, but it appears the county is fully funding at least some of this equipment, so.
When they come into the fire commission, their role and responsibility of the individual department is to ask for the amount of funding that should fully fund it. The idea of taking the value of that vehicle and putting it back into the purchase is we're requiring them to keep the old vehicle in service until the new one's ready to go in service. So there's kind of a little bit of a
Sometimes that doesn't happen.
exactly, true, and that's part of the restrictions that are on the grants moving forward. Given that, they can't put those proceeds to the new vehicle until the new vehicle's obviously in service. So they don't know what the resale value will be, and nor do they have those funds available when they purchase the vehicle.
I just think that as Chief Clark pointed out, I go back in the day and we're using old rules for a new system that we're gonna have to address.
I
Since
don't
everybody's
disagree.
out there listening intently, Because as I repeat myself, back in the day, the county did not fully fund equipment.
Right.
And we needed that resale money to equip the apparatus, but we're at a point now where we're fully equipping it, and those resales, we're gonna have to talk about,
I agree.
just so they're forewarned.
All right, sir, thank you.
Absolutely.
For me, even though I see apparatus up there, and I've not ever been a part of volunteer fire and rescue, I've appreciated you over the years, because I can't tell you some of the dingbat stuff that has happened at my home. But I look at
Please tell.
No, you don't want to hear it. I look at medic and I look at dive team, and I think, these are people. You know, so that shows you what I know. But having said that, it might be helpful for me to know, now we've got 6 replacements, and we have money spread over 25 to 28. It might be good to have a breakdown as to what you're looking to get and how many purchases you're able to make in each of those years. You know what I'm saying? That would be helpful to me.
The funding formula, I think, goes up about 3% each fiscal year.
Okay.
So that's where that number, 128, it would be like for next fiscal year, it would be like 3 or 6% more than that as an increase. Now, with the fire apparatus, they had to do a major overhaul on that based on unbelievable increases in apparatus costs. But essentially, the volunteer fire department, rescue squad, medic unit brings in their budget each year to work with the fire commission. And normally, these numbers are placekeepers. So if it were to be that they needed more funds, you know, say for instance, something changed where the mission somehow changed, or the apparatus became much more expensive like the fire apparatus did, then they would have to readjust that as part of their annual request when it comes in.
So is this 128,000 going to cover all 6 of the requests? And then when we get to 27, we'll see some new requests in there?
The 128 is for one medic unit. That's
One medic unit?
Yeah, that's, if you look in the far left-hand
Okay.
column, replace
Okay.
medic 103.
It's only
and then
for that, okay.
They're all listed out there. There is none in 2026, and in 2027,
Okay.
there's actually 2 of them.
And then 3 and 28?
That's correct.
Yes. Okay. I'm learning.
All right, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, let me see what slide I'm on here. So now we have the facilities, the new facilities for public safety. We have the public safety facility starting in 2025, Solomon's new firehouse, and we funded some of that, and we're looking at that 26 through 28. St. Leonard's Construction, we funded some of their design, and they're looking like construction in 25, 26.
So Veronica, on the first one, public safety facility for 1.5, did that take into consideration the study we did on that facility?
Commissioner, let me bring Stanley Harris, and I'm not sure if JR is still here in the room or not.
Okay.
But they can speak to that.
Okay.
Please, thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jared Cosgrove, Director of Public Works. So the $1.5 million that is in there for FY '25 for the new public safety facility is to cover A&E design cost. In order to relocate the 911 center, emergency management, and most of public safety into their new facility at 110 Main Street. We've talked to a few architects, especially the ones that are in the field of designing public safety facilities, to get a rough idea of what the design cost would be, to evaluate the existing structure and what would be needed to move, especially the 911 center into that facility. And the estimates they were giving us of where they've done elsewhere in the past few years is around $1 million and $1.5 million on design, give or take. Now, and then of course construction follows that. So in FY '26 you see some dollars in FY '26. That's kind of a placeholder until we get a rough design to figure out exactly what the cost would be.
And what about the study?
So that study that we looked at doing, at least one of them with our architects, roughly is about $60,000 to give us an idea of what the construction would be, but that does not give us a design of actually doing the construction work.
So are we figuring out that the architects have a $1.5 million minimum?
It looks that way when you're looking at public facility, safety facilities.
Because they're going to charge us
firehouses.
$1.5 million to go into that building and look at how it needs to be retrofitted, and we could design a brand new one for 1.5?
Seems to be the case. Now, that's a rough estimate, just talking to them, we
How
have.
much would it
design
cost
spec-
us to hire our own architect?
Not $1.5 million a year.
Look, I'm not kidding, because if you add up what we spent in my 5 years, we could have hired 3 architects and probably wouldn't have probably would have done a better job.
That is true.
Because the people out here may not know, but I don't know what we paid to design the Prince Road Firehouse. It was over $1 million, and there was a steel beam running right through the middle of the stairwell.
I think we're just shy of $1 million on, say, on Prince Frederick. I think we're just shy probably on the rescue squad in Prince Frederick, and we're about that for the St. Leonard's design. And we're looking at about the same for the Southwest design.
It is ridiculous.
We should look at what it would cost, because every year we're building something, we're spending $1 million. And then they screw it up. I'm sorry. Every building I've seen that we built has been screwed up by the architects. I'm just being honest.
There's
Maybe
issues
they'll
we
sue
find
me.
on construction.
Their union will sue me, but every building we've built since I've been here, designed by $1.5 million architects, has been screwed up.
There's issues.
Every single one. I mean, $1.5 million just for A&E. And then you're estimating the $5 million, but that's just a swag.
Pretty much. 'Cause we don't know, from what I'm being told, as far as a public safety facility that houses a 911 facility, there's a bunch of regulations that need to be looked at to make the building, I guess, acceptable for 911 as far as hardening the structure, redundancy as far as power and all that. There's some codes that are local codes, some are state codes, some can be waived, some cannot, so it's a wide array of design codes we gotta
Did you
follow.
say hardening the structure?
Yeah, they look at, evidently there's
Are we
different,
expecting a nuclear attack that I wasn't aware of?
there's different load requirements such as for the roof for a public facility that houses 911 center versus a normal commercial building. So I've been told by the architect.
So we get them in one that doesn't leak, and now it has to be hard.
I'm sure Putin has got us on his radar as soon as he gets done.
Go back and fix the leak. Correct.
Okay,
Any additional questions?
no,
Okay.
not for me, thank you.
Okay, so this concludes the presentation portion of this public safety. Again, the 6-year CIP for public safety is $80,199,720 currently. We will see that new number in the staff recommended budget. Fortunately, these presentations go out 2 to 3 weeks before, so when there's changes, we can't always incorporate them into the presentation.
And just for the public's awareness, today is just a presentation. We're not making budget decisions today. It's just in preparation for those decisions.
Correct, an opportunity for you to see what staff's asking for. This right here, this slide is expenditure and revenue summary currently, is what we're looking at for FY 2025 for the CIP. Got a total of $114,842,000. And our pay-go is looking, it'll be reduced a little bit, but it's $16,645,000 right now. And that concludes our presentation. I will see you next time with the facilities. Next one will be facilities on the 6th. Do you have any more questions? Thank you
Thank you.
very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. So I believe now we can conduct a public hearing. Department of Finance and Budget, American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA Budget Amendment.
Yes. Good
Morning, Director.
I'm Bruce Miller, Finance Director. I'm here with Mary Lehman, who's going to present, but let me get to my script. So, again, Bruce Miller, Finance Director. This is a public hearing. Anyone that would like to speak at this hearing is required to sign up on the sheet to my left, so please come forward now and sign up if you would like to comment. You will be called up at the end of this brief presentation for your comments. The purpose of this public hearing is to provide the public an opportunity to comment on an issue and to seek the BOC's approval of staff's recommendations. Again, Mary Lehman will do the overview of the information.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mary Lehman, Grants Coordinator for Finance and Budget. The subject of our public hearing today is the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA Budget Amendment, BA 2024-000247. Background. On March 17, 2019, Calvert County declared a local state of emergency due to the effects of the coronavirus. The United States Treasury appropriated funds to the state of Maryland in the form of the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA. Discussion. A reallocation of the appropriated ARPA funding is requested for several line items. The budget amendment requires a public hearing because it is in excess of $150,000. These are the individual lines that are affected. CIP projects 29, ARPA line item 49, an increase of $541,948 for the Breezy Point Shoreline Restoration. Capital Improvement Project 259, ARPA line 17, stormwater and septic at Battle Creek, increase of $150,000. Capital Project 242, ARPA line 12, stormwater at Cove Point Park, an increase of $75,786. Capital Project 246, ARPA line 15, stormwater at Dunkirk Park, an increase of $60,000. ARPA line item 41B, Zen City, an increase of $54,000. ARPA line item 23 for the contracted grant coordinator, an increase of $19,048. Capital Project 116, ARPA line item 43, a contingency line, is receiving a decrease of $771. Capital Project 293, ARPA line 42, Highland wastewater pipeline design, is a decrease of $2,210. ARPA line item 46 for rent and mortgage relief is a decrease of $7,178. ARPA line 34, hotspot lending program, is a decrease of $7,640. Capital Project 19, ARPA line 11, is the BG&E field well, receiving a decrease of $15,825. ARPA line 44, workday recruiting, a decrease of $55,248. Capital Project 106, ARPA line 16, stormwater at Halloween Point Park, is a decrease of $119,962. Capital Project 260, ARPA line item 18, stormwater and septic at Flag Ponds, a decrease of $150,000. ARPA line 9, revenue lost for funds 5 and 6, decrease of $541,948. All of these increases and decreases total net to a zero effect. The fiscal impact, there is no physical impact for this action. This is a transfer between multiple line items. The conclusion recommendation. The Department of Finance and Budget is requesting that after taking public comment, the Board of County Commissioners close the record. Staff will return after the 10-day waiting period to request approval of BA 2024-247.
So Mary, before we do comment, so there were restrictions on ARPA money, how you could spend that money. The county does pick projects to fund with ARPA funding. These projects and programs where you've taken money away, I'm assuming those projects are completed and those programs are now ended, and these are leftover funds?
Some of those, yes. Some are completed, and those would be leftover funds. Others have different reasons for reallocations. And if you have a specific question, I'll ask each person's
Just trying to get a general
responsible.
feel for transferring and moving money around. And the
Right.
increases, are those projects, any of those projects completed, and this is just to finish them out, or are they in progress?
So can I ask Amanda?
Yes, please.
Stillwagon? Yes, from Parks and Recs.
Hi, good morning. Amanda Stillwagon, Park and Safety Division Chief. So yes, BG&E well completed. There was $15,000 left, so I requested to move it to Cove Point. We had 3 swims there that needed repair. We've done 2 of the 3. So I didn't want to start something at Halloween Point when we didn't have enough money to complete. So I'm requesting that we move the money to Cove, and then all stormwater will be up to date at Cove Point Park. And the reason that we're moving to Dunkirk is because we're building a new tennis facility there, and it made sense to me to have all stormwater functioning there as we were building this new facility. So that was the reasoning for our movements. And then for natural resources, as you guys know, Battle Creek had a fire, and the monies separate, the 110 for Flag and the 110 for Breezy, weren't enough to complete the projects. But by combining them, we can complete it at Battle Creek, and it makes sense since it's under renovation right now to do that location.
Just want the public to understand why we're moving money around.
There was some common sense, I promise. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else?
While you're there, how far out is Battle Creek?
Well, for the stormwater work, we actually are looking at a redesign. So we have contacted someone, I believe they're coming out this week or the beginning of next, to take a look and see. The design was done a few years ago by Soils Conservation District, and we have requested just to have another look at it for the septic and stormwater. And then as far as the renovation project, I can't speak to when that'll be completed.
Okay, thank you.
Questions? No?
Is that
Thank
it?
you.
Yep.
That's all I had.
Okay, so at this time, we have one person who's asked to make public comment, and that's Joseph, I believe, Cormier.
As tall as JR. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm sorry, I didn't put the water in my CPAP last night, so I'm a little dry. Joe Cormier, District 3 resident. I am glad that we're still working with this ARPA money, and we're going to get it spent. I'm sure there's a timeline of how we have to spend it before we have to give it back, so I want to make sure that we spend it. All the projects that are getting increases, I'm for. Our stormwater and our shoreline projects need. I wanted to ask about the rent mortgage relief program and the hotspot lending program. I know it's chump change in the grand scheme of things, but I would hope that the residents who needed that rent mortgage relief, that could be, 6, 7 families who got their rent paid, who really needed it. And the hotspot lending program, I don't know if that's something that's just transitioning. I know the library system has a hotspot lending program, and we're building out our high-speed capacity throughout the county. So, just those little small things. And then the big thing was the Revenue Loss Fund 5-6. I guess my Google didn't help me a lot. I looked on the county website. I'm not sure is that just the bulk fund that's left over, or how does that fit into the whole ARPA funds? But again, anytime the government's going to give us money without lots of strings, like Mr. Hart says, and we can use it, that's not going to cost us more money by using it, I'm glad that we're using it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And was mentioned, those ARPA funds did come with strings, and these programs have expired, and there are leftover funds, so we're just trying to reallocate those funds to projects and get those completed and before the money has to be returned, so trying to do our best.
All right, Mr. President, I got a motion for you.
Yes, sir.
I move that we close the record.
I have a motion and a second that we close the record. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that brings us to old business. Item 1, Office of the County Attorney, status of state legislation.
Afternoon, Commissioners. Good morning. Still morning.
Still morning.
Still morning. John Norris, County Attorney. We're here to look at, provide you an update on the requests for state legislation. The County Commissioners, 3 requests for authority to consider adopting a local preference, solicitation and panhandling modeled after Charles County, and an increase in the amount required for formal bidding to go from $30,000 to $50,000. We understand those have been dropped. They should be read tomorrow, so hopefully we'll see them with bill numbers this week. Citizens' requests also went up to the state, and I haven't seen those with bill numbers either. There is a notable bill entitled Economic Development Maryland Watermen's Micro Loan Program Eligibility. It is in the Senate, sponsored by Senator Bailey, in the House by Delegate Morgan, both representing Calvert County. This legislation expands the eligibility for loans under the Watermen's Micro Loan Program. That is, the generational watermen are eligible to receive the loan through June 30 of 2025. In the July 1, 2025, it begins expanding into beginner watermen, individuals with a tidal fish license, who have between 2 and 10 years of experience. I was able to speak with Ms. Dean. The Watermen's Association is going to be supporting this bill, but she was not able to be with us this morning. So the committee hearing is scheduled for February 7th. Staff requests a letter of support for that bill.
I move that we send a letter of support for that bill.
Second.
I have a motion and a second that we send a letter in support House Bill 120, Senate Bill 32. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next bill was submitted by Senator Bailey and Delegate Stewart of District 19. It's authorizing counties and municipalities to designate roads or municipal highways under your jurisdiction eligible for golf carts. That is, golf carts that have minimum lighting requirements, so they would have to meet some standards. Authorizing them where the road speed limit is no more than 30 miles an hour between dawn and dusk, and only if they're equipped with the lighting devices. Committee hearing is scheduled for January 31 in the Senate and February 1 in the House. We have received some cautionary notes that there may, if this were to come to pass, and the commissioners are then authorized to allow golf carts on county roads with speed limits below 30. You may also receive requests from communities that speed limit of 35 may want to lower it, and so it's just something to think of.
It's just enabling legislation.
It's just enabling.
Sorry.
Are the golf carts required to be registered?
So typically, and I didn't realize this till recently, the ATVs are registered with MVA, and they receive a sticker for on-road use, ORV, I believe is what the sticker reads. There would presumably have to be some registration of the golf cart as meeting the lighting requirements. Whether or not they've thought that far ahead into how the regulations might work or what the counties might require is, it doesn't appear today. So it should be required, but it doesn't appear to be yet.
Seems very important. Yes, thank you.
So those committee hearings, again, January 31 in the Senate, February 1 in the House, and if you'd like to send a letter, we'd be happy to do that.
Does the board have
So, I
any
mean, I think
desire?
we're unique in the fact that we have a lot of beachfront communities here in the county. Golf carts are in every community you go through. I think this is actually pretty much legalizing what's already going on in a lot of these communities. I'm in favor of it myself.
I'm I'm not. I don't want to see it on Jewel Road. I don't want to see it on any of the back roads. I understand what you're saying. On my little Tobacco Road, most everybody has a golf cart, and they mainly go from properties to properties and up to Jewel Road to get the mail. I understand that, and I understand the beach community, but I don't understand a golf cart being on a county road.
So is there a way we could define it such that they could only operate in subdivisions? I know they're still county roads.
If the enabling legislation were passed, the county could require that there be a full shoulder, or that it be on roads that are specifically approved by the board or approved by the Director of Public Works. There are ways that you can ensure there's safety measures employed if the enabling legislation were to get
Because as
passed.
Commissioner Bassett says, some of our county roads, I certainly would want to see it.
Well, I mean, it's based on speed limits. I mean, could the county be more specific on the speed limits and drop it to 25-mile-an-hour roadways? Can we be more specific on the legislation?
It would presume, yes, because it does say no more than 30, so the county does have the
So we
ability
could
to
do
lower
10
it.
or
Do
15,
25?
we can do anything.
Which-
We can't go over 30 if that's written in the statute. though.
Cannot go over 30.
Right.
But what you're saying is if this comes to pass, we as Calvert County can design how we want this to look in our own county.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
So I do agree with it.
Supported as enabling.
Yes.
Is there a motion?
So I make a motion, we support the bill.
Second.
I have a motion and a second that we support House Bill 43 and Senate Bill 316. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
So the Safe Communities Act of 2024 is co-sponsored by Senator Bailey and Delegate Fishers and Morgan from Calvert County. This legislation prohibits earning diminution credits while that would reduce the term of confinement for an individual who's incarcerated for a sentence of first-degree murder or second-degree in a state or local correctional facility, and prohibiting the deduction of diminution credits of more than 10% of an individual who's has an aggregated sentence for crimes of violence for an incarcerated individual serving that sentence. There's a committee hearing scheduled for February 13th and February 6th. We do not have a request to support that legislation, but we did want to make you aware of it.
We have the state's attorney in the audience. Mr. State's Attorney, do you have any comment on this bill?
I'm Harvey, State's Attorney. My comment is it's got no chance of passing whatsoever. Nevertheless, I think the intent is good. We just had a case in Prince George's County, you may have seen it on the news, where an individual had murdered 2 deputy sheriffs many years ago. I don't know what the overall sentence was, but to the shock and surprise of the victims' families, the fellow got out 7 years before the end of his sentence because of these diminution credits. Diminution credits reduce someone's sentence because of good behavior or educational programs. It's a maze. Nobody can understand it. It is not truth in sentencing. When victims ask us about diminution credits, it's very difficult for us to explain it because they come, they go, they're there, they're not. I think it's a good idea. I just don't think it's got a prayer. That's my own comment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we may save the ink on that one, unless you would like to take a position.
Any action?
I would like to make a motion that we send a letter of approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second that we support House Bill 310, Senate Bill 44, even if it doesn't have a chance. But at least we're going to voice our support.
Right.
Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next is House Bill 418, Senate Bill 459, grant applications and reporting Maryland Efficient Grant Application Council alterations. It changes the membership of the council, but more importantly, it starts a study to determine whether or not an ombudsman at the state level should be employed to help municipalities and counties get through and find grant opportunities with the state. This request for support, there is a hearing scheduled for February 6th in the House. As of last night, there had not been a Senate hearing scheduled yet, but we're asking for the letter of support for not only the bill, but also the concept of appointing an ombudsman.
I move that we support House Bill 418 and Special Bill 459 that will study creation of and regarding the creation of a state's grants ombudsman.
Second. Have a motion and a second that we support House Bill 418, Senate Bill 459. Any discussion on that motion?
Yes. How does this differ from the fact that we in county government have a grants writer? What does this do for us?
So it was actually a grants writer that brought this bill to our attention. She said it would be immensely helpful, not only helping her identify grant opportunities, but also making sure that we get through the grant process with the state agencies, because oftentimes we find ourselves behind the 8 ball with time, and when grants are announced and when our applications are due. So it was actually supported by your grants coordinator here at the county government to increase the opportunities for finding state funding.
Thank you. Good to know. Thanks.
Another level, yep.
Any other discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
So that is the last bill we have teed up for discussion.
Have, I'm sorry, all of our bills been dropped?
So our bills, what I've been told is that our bills have been dropped for reading, and they have not yet received their committee assignments, so they should, I'm hoping this week, have bill numbers. We did see there was a number of bills that came out last night. They're up to almost 1,500 bills total. Program open space for the use, allowing it to be used for renewable energy and storage was a new one. Not surprising, but we were starting to see more solar bills, and we're starting to see more tax bills and more zoning bills.
Isn't it gonna be hard to have solar panels in our baseball fields?
I believe it's the tempered glass model that will be used. They did spend quite a bit of time also talking about the funding for community colleges and its relationship to blueprints. I expect you'll probably hear about that today as well. They are preparing letters of opposition to the budget provisions, letters that propose different results, coming both from the Maryland Association of Counties and the Maryland Association of Community Colleges. They are also asking the superintendents of schools to submit letters encouraging delegations, those on finance, those on budget and tax, to take a position and try and restore some of the funding the state that's proposed to be cut.
And there were 2 bills that affected our local community college. We wrote letters of opposition, correct?
Correct. Senate Bill 12 and 181, both Senator Ellis bills.
So for those of you listening, we had 2 bills introduced affecting our local community college system that separated out the funding by campus and also increased the Board of, well, Regents is the only thing I have on my mind, but whatever that term is. And we did oppose those 2 bills.
Correct. Currently, the Board of Trustees for College of Southern Maryland is set up so that each of the 3 counties has 3 appointees. This would have increased the number of appointees only for Charles County to 5, so that it would become an 11-member Board of Trustees.
Right.
That was opposed.
Correct. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that brings us to a presentation, the Department of Economic Development, College of Southern Maryland, as the annual college update.
Good morning, Commissioners. Julie
Morning.
Oberg, Director of Economic Development. I'm pleased that we have Dr. Yolanda Wilson, CSM President, as well as Pamela Cousins, CSM Trustee, and Ava Wilson, a CSM student, to come up and give their annual State of the College update. Come on up.
Good morning, how are you?
Good morning. How are you?
We hope you're doing well.
So far.
With you this morning.
Yeah,
Thank you so
thank you.
much. Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm so honored and delighted to have our trustee Pamela Cousins with us and one of our wonderful students, Ava, with us, who's going to share a little bit later. So thank you so much. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am delighted to join you this morning for the College of Southern Maryland State of the College. I'm joined by, again, trustee Pamela Cousins, one of our newest trustees, who, with fellow trustees Christy Lombardi and Celeste Alexander Fry, represent Calvert County. We also have with us Ava Wilson, who you'll hear from in just a little bit. I can hardly believe that my first year anniversary of being among you is here. It was about a year ago that I sat before you and first met all of you. It's been a wonderful and exciting journey this past year, immersing myself into our community college, to meet our nation's inspiring students, to get to know so many of our college's important partners, so thank you for your support, and to just immerse myself in this wonderful Southern Maryland community. As we consider our state of the college, I just want to remind you of some of our points of distinction, if I may. Hi, Catherine.
Hi.
CSM is designated as the 4th best community college in Maryland and nation's 4th best online associate degree in information technology and systems degrees by Intelligent.com. We are recognized for having the best faculty among Maryland's community colleges by Intelligent.com. We are identified as the 36th best community college in the nation out of 677 and the 77th best college in the nation when it comes to career outcomes by Wallet Hub last fall. We've been twice recognized among the top 150 community colleges in the country by the Aspen Institute in its Aspen Prize for Community College Excellence. We are also enormously proud to be designated a military-friendly school for the 8th consecutive year. We consider these points of distinction to be more than just our successes. They're also a testament to the incredible support coming from all of you. Each of our student successes reflect the far reach of our collective impact. But even more, each student's success is proof positive that when we go far, we go together. Governed by a board of trustees that represents each county equally, CSM truly reflects the regional concept. And our trustees, 3 from each county, are committed to support each location equitably in accordance with their unique needs and student population. Our State of the College video helps to further illustrate our focus on student success. And you'll be able to hear more about these students and the many accomplishments of this past year, both internally and externally, thanks to all of your support. Let's take a look at the video. Since I began serving as CSM's president, we have focused on 3 core pillars to build success together: student success, employee success, and community success. We've been deliberate in our efforts to actively listen and reflect, reimagine, refocus, and rebuild our relationships with our students, each other, and our regional partners. We will share some of the successes we've had in our 3 core pillars and in our efforts to build collaborative communities and serve our region as a connector and a convener.
Michaela Jade Butler, highest honors.
Last spring, I got to share the commencement stage with both my fellow CSM graduates and the inaugural early college class of high school seniors from 4 Charles County Public Schools. These early college program students attended CSM in the fall of 2022 and spring of 2023 to complete 11 college classes, earn their General Studies Transfer Certificate, and graduate high school with their first year of the CSM General Studies program completed. Today, CSM offers early college to students from every public high school in Charles and Calvert counties and continues to partner with Calvert, Charles, and St. Mary's County Public School systems to make college more accessible to high school students through dual enrollment.
Charles County Public Schools is proud to have worked with CSM to launch the region's first early college program. Early college now includes nearly 200 juniors and seniors from all 7 high schools in Charles County. We are thrilled to collaborate with CSM and transform lives, broaden college accessibility, and introduce our high school students to their regional community college in a meaningful way.
As committed educators in this Tri-County region, St. Mary's County Public Schools and the College of Southern Maryland have the same goal: to create transformative opportunities for our students that unlock their full potential.
Early college also targets the college and career readiness criteria outlined in the Blueprint for Maryland's future legislation.
Calvert County's high school students will experience the rigor of a college course, earn transferable college credits, save money, and receive the benefits of being a College of Southern Maryland student, including free tutoring and advising.
We join the Calvert County and Charles County Public School systems signing memorandums of understanding with CSM and the Tri-County Council for Southern Maryland.
CSM homeschool program also continues to grow exponentially. Since opening doors in fall of 2019, we've had 40 enrollments to now over 400 enrollments.
The homeschool program here at College of Southern Maryland has been a great addition to my son's homeschooling adventures, and my son has flourished with his classmates, with the instructors. The community that we've built here for students is all inclusive. It's a comfortable place for students to feel at home together, experience the classroom environment. There are so many parents that are choosing to homeschool now, but then so many homeschool parents that feel lost or don't know where to go or can't find additional resources. I've loved having the ability to build a community and support group with all of the other parents here as well.
The faculty here at CSM not only represents years of academic professionalism, our faculty members come with a tremendous amount of professional experience as well. This includes backgrounds in military and government operations, industry experience in engineering, research, and development, years of experience on the front line as first responders in law enforcement, medical health, all in both the U.S. and global environments. Through appointment to state commissions on workforce development or discipline standardizing bodies between 2- and 4-year institutions, to being interviewed as experts in their fields and giving keynote speeches at their own alma maters. Our faculty consistently carry the message that CSM is the place to be.
CSM wanted and needed to elevate our diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging work. And in spring of 2023, we announced that the Division of Human Resources and Organizational Development would be reorganized and report directly to President Wilson to accomplish this task. The division was renamed the Division of People, Culture, and Equity to focus on and support employee recruitment, employee engagement, employee retention, and the overall functions of human resources. Furthering CSM's commitment to people and organizational culture, CSM Distinguished Professor for Equity and Education, Daphne Powell, along with the Diversity, Equity, Inclusivity, and Belonging Faculty Leadership Team, completed their first year of awareness activities.
CSM held its first Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging and Accessibility Conference last spring entitled Walk a Mile in Our Awareness, and it was a huge success. I am grateful to my DEIB team and all who attended to help kick off this multi-year professorship. by creating a safe space for everyone to talk and reflect on our own personal journeys, as well as show empathy and understanding for others. Our next steps include bringing a deeper awareness of DEIB and accessibility to our faculty.
The nonprofit institute at the College of Southern Maryland returned to an in-person annual conference for the first time since the onset of the pandemic and saw record-breaking attendance and participation. CSM President Dr. Yolanda Wilson spoke eloquently about the collective impact model and the need for all of us to create a shared vision and vibrancy metrics with our communities.
Imagine the results if the thought leadership in this room worked together to do a broad needs-based assessment, created shared goals and metrics, decided to share physical and financial resources, and created a shared timeline with key performance indicators that represented the diverse demographics of the populations we desperately desire to serve and who desperately need us.
When Dr. Wilson introduced the idea of CSM really digging deep to bring our businesses and nonprofits and community resource groups together to work collaboratively in a collective impact model, she was speaking straight to my heart and to the heart and vision of Leadership Southern Maryland. LSM's vision is Southern Maryland leaders united for positive community impact. So for that and other reasons, Leadership Southern Maryland and the College of Southern Maryland are natural partners in the work of transforming lives and building a stronger Southern Maryland.
CSM Center for Health Sciences opened its doors to students in January of 2023. The center is an impressive display of health sciences programming aimed to help students attain career readiness and creating a strong workforce pipeline. We have created a new beginning in healthcare education in Southern Maryland.
The caliber of education that is occurring here in this collaborative space is a game changer for the quality of healthcare in Southern Maryland. When I joined other CEOs and leaders of the area hospitals for a special tour and discussion surrounding collaborating with College of Southern Maryland in a four-way partnership, I have to tell you, we were all pretty excited because we were all focused on providing exceptional patient care in Southern Maryland and providing care for a lifetime. And the College of Southern Maryland has a full seat at our table.
CSM began working with Calvert Internal Medicine Group late fall 2022 on the development of a medical assisting registered apprenticeship. With strategic partnerships throughout the regional healthcare industry, CSM has been responsive to critical workforce needs, training over 20 patient care technicians for Charles Regional Medical Center in the past 2 years, and developing a community health worker training that will be launched spring of 2024. CSM certified nursing and geriatric nursing assistant students work side by side with healthcare professionals day to day in our region's nursing homes, learning and providing support to our senior and aging populations. Another area that CSM makes strides in is in our partnership with area businesses on the western shores of Charles County. More than 400 students and their families packed the Velocity Center last spring to get a hands-on look at some of the exciting arts and science activities and opportunities available in their backyard during CSM's second annual Art of Innovation, Science, Technology, Engineering and Arts Mathematics Festival. The Velocity Center's Executive Director, Leslie Quattlebaum, was recently appointed to the Charles County Military Alliance. This allows CSM to further shore up our initiatives to have collaborative goals and strategies in our communities to benefit every generation.
The relationship between the Patuxent Partnership and the College of Southern Maryland provides another example of CSM's long and rich history of building a strong STEM workforce pipeline for our military partners in the region. The Patuxent Partnership established a Pathways Scholarship to support students who pursue an associate degree in CSM's mechanical or electrical engineering programs and then transfer to the University of Maryland.
This is such an incredible opportunity for the students in the Tri-County area to get an education, learn the skills for a career, and contribute to the economy of Southern Maryland. Workforce development is economic development, and the College of Southern Maryland is the economic engine for Southern Maryland.
Building a bridge from where students are coming from and creating pathways to where students are going to is what we do at CSM. And we recognize that work of this magnitude cannot be done in isolation. It must be done collaboratively and requires working alongside our community and industry partners to make a positive impact in the lives of those we are honored and privileged to serve. We believe the state of the College of Southern Maryland is strong and getting even stronger. And as we look ahead, we ask you to join us in this new year to view and understand our community in new ways and to see CSM as your faithful partner, because together we can collectively help individuals and their families achieve upward mobility and help communities flourish and thrive socially and economically. And together we can build success in Southern Maryland. I have to say, I get a little choked up when I see that video. I'm so blessed and honored to be the 6th president of this wonderful institution. And as you can see in that State of the College video, we have amazing students, faculty, staff, and partners who have really rallied around CSM. So, thank you for that. So the State of the College captures just some of the work that's happened in the 11 months, and really my team and I are focused, the board's focused on really rebuilding, re-engaging, and strengthening our partnerships, as you can see in that video. All of those folk who are featured and some who weren't featured, we wish we could have included them all, have really rallied around and worked together, all with the goal of improving the lives of our students and our communities. And it's been phenomenal working with our partners. So now we're shifting a bit to our strategic plan, which gives us an even greater opportunity to work with our respective partners focused on student success and workforce development. And we're going to be focusing on 3 core pillars, and that's access, momentum, and mobility. Okay. Access is looking at the students that we desire to serve who have not yet come to our institution, or students who have stopped out and we want to return. We're looking at the shifting demographics and wanting to make sure that we have opportunities for all students who come to the Southern Maryland region. Momentum is looking at, once those students come through our doors, how do we keep them? That's retention. How do we make sure those students get a certificate, a degree, receive the courses they need to transfer, to upskill or retool or retrain? That's what we're looking at when we look at momentum. And when we consider mobility, it's all with the goal of making sure that we offer programs that can improve the living wages of our student population, that we are offering services that allow them to be able to support themselves and their families, with the goal of them living, training, and remaining right here in the Southern Maryland region. We talked about a little bit earlier the benefits of a regional collaboration and the wonderful fortune that I have of working with a 9-member board that has equal representation among all 3 counties. A concept that was developed, this regional approach, 24 years ago, so we're really grateful for our predecessors for having that vision. And we're positioned today, better than ever, to serve our 14,329 credit and non-credit students. And our goal is always to do that fairly, efficiently, strategically, and most of all, equitably, according to their needs, regardless of their campus location or their county. In fact, our students, as you know, are very fluid, and COVID, post-pandemic, higher education landscape, students are more fluid than ever. They want online, they want hybrid, they want high flex, they want flexibility. And so we have students who live in one county and take courses in other counties, and that's quite common. 45%, in fact, of CSM students attend 2 or more locations. 45%, almost half. And another 32% take online classes. Okay? We have 11 online programs of study, and we have 26,000 enrollments just in online courses alone. This growth of our online footprint has been possible due to the ability to assign resources and costs to a virtual campus that is tied to all 3 counties. And this past year, as you know, we opened up our regional Hughesville campus. It has an impressive display, as you saw, of health sciences programming. It has a simulation center, a specialized program lab, collaborative learning spaces. And we have, as you're aware, the unique funding formula of the state carrying 75% of our construction costs and the county paying 25%. It really would be fiscally impossible for us to replicate the kind of programming you see at the Health Sciences Center at all 3 counties. Very expensive, very, very challenging, and very difficult. So the ability to be able to use our resources and talent and have that fluidity is critical to being able to serve our students in the region with this regional approach, and our Center for Health Sciences is a testament to this. So the challenge before us is clear. As we look ahead and begin the process of building our new strategic plan, we have an even greater opportunity to position CSM as stronger engines of social and economic mobility. We are the workforce pipeline, as Bonnie Green talked about, and Jeremy Bradford and others. We're the workforce pipeline here in Southern Maryland. We are honored to be the workforce pipeline. And we know that we are able to do that because of the amazing students like Ava to my right that we're able to serve. So let me just share with you a little bit of a snapshot about our student demographic. Community colleges nationally, enroll 40%. We enroll 40% of all undergraduate students nationally, And 50% of those students are Black, Hispanic, and Native American college students. These populations also include adults with some college or no degree, want to come back, Indigenous, people of color, Asian Americans, and Pacific Islanders, members of the LGBTQ plus IA community, households living below the federal poverty threshold, our ALICE community members, parenting students, caregivers, the homeless, immigrants and refugees, those who have been justice impacted, and those in recovery. We are honored and we are privileged to serve every single one of those students with rich and diverse backgrounds who come to our institution seeking knowledge, better skills, and most of all, a better life. At this time, I'd like for you to meet one of our amazing students, Ava Wilson, who will share with you about her experiences as a member of Calvert County's first cohort of early college students right here at the Prince Frederick campus. 2023 marked the year that CSM offered early college to students from every public high school in Charles and Calvert County. This is a record number of students that will continue to grow as we partner with Calvert, Charles, and St. Mary's to make college more accessible to high school students. Ava.
Hello everybody, my name is Ava Wilson. I'm here to tell you about my experience in the early college program at the College of Southern Maryland. I'm 17 and I plan to study at Towson University where I will get a degree in occupational therapy and pediatrics after my CSM time. Thanks to the early college program, I'll go into Towson University with a year of college already under my belt and completed. At CSM, not only am I in the early college program, I'm the treasurer for the Prince Frederick Government Association, a member of Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society, and part of the Miller Center Leadership Academy. I'm an active student in the early college program. In my second semester at CSM, enrolled in 4 courses, last semester earning a 3.75 GPA, making Dean's List. Balancing my academic life with my involvement at CSM is the building blocks to my success. Handling the responsibility of being an early college student and being involved requires a schedule to ensure I maintain my responsibility to my highest standards. Early college gives me opportunities that I would never have been able to have in high school, like making my own schedule and fitting around classes that work best for my learning style. Early college allows me to work more on my time and learn the way that I feel that benefits me best. Completing work is less stressful even though we have more work per classes. We have 4 subjects instead of 7 as compared to high school. It allows me to work through my work more thoroughly and have a greater understanding of my course material. I'd like to quickly compare my day as a high school student versus my day as an early college student. In high school, I woke up at 5:30 every morning and left for school around 6:30 a.m. My school time started around 7:15 and ended around 2:15, with one break being my lunch in the earlier half of my day. So I would work 7 hours straight on 7 different subjects. In high school, I had the 7 classes requiring homework and projects, as well as outside of school activities. Now compared to my experience as an early college student, I have 4 classes a week, 2 classes a day with Fridays off. I arrive around 8:15, meaning I leave my house around 7:30, get up around 6:30. I then have class from 8:15 to 10:35, then I have an hour break, then a class 12:15 to 1:35. This schedule allows me to take time throughout my day to complete my assignments to the best of my abilities and to really know my course material and excel in my academics. In college, I'm calm in my surroundings and trust everyone is mature and they know I am mature as well. This allows me to complete my work more efficiently, as well as in the early college program, everyone is mature and they all want the same goal of excelling in their academics, which excels me to work even harder to show everybody that I would like to learn. The early college program allows me the opportunity to test college before shipping myself away to a 4-year university. Instead of jumping into classes hundreds of miles away with no one I know, away from my friends, family, and community, I am able to have a familiar setting where I can surround myself with my family and my friends, all while learning college-level courses. This part of early college is what I find to be the most beneficial to students. This program has prepared me for college at a 4-year university, as I know what to expect in classes and how to balance my assignments while learning the most I can. The early college program allows me to feel fulfilled in my academics by being able to choose my own path and directions to getting my degree and being able to get a head start on my future of learning. Thank you.
Thank you.
You did an amazing job, Ava. Isn't Ava wonderful? We can see that our future is very bright because we're in very capable, wonderful hands. So thank you for being with us and thank you for sharing your experience. We're super proud of you, Ava. Super proud of you.
Dr. Wilson?
Yes.
It is a wonderful program. I have a grandson who did the same thing. He's at St. Mary's College now, and I have one that he's in Anne Arundel and goes to Southern High School. He's a senior. And I just can't tell you the jump on life, on discipline. Just like you said, the preparing you to go away from home. It's a wonderful program, and I'm so glad we have it in Calvert.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Thank you so much.
You're
We are so
welcome.
honored to have it in Calvert and looking forward to growing it even more in Calvert. So, you know, we have students like Ava and your family that are testaments that the program works.
It does.
And that it helps position our students for success, and you can save a lot of money at the same time, so it's a win-win. So
It
thank
is,
you for that.
definitely.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you. Okay, so I want to acknowledge an action that you took as elected officials that have tremendously increased access for our students, the Commissioner Care Scholarships. As you recall, those scholarships launched in all 3 of our counties during COVID and supported 1,798 students in continuing their education. This included $225,000 in Calvert Commissioner Scholarships, which supported 450 Calvert students during COVID, 450. More than a third of all of these students are now graduated. So thank you for that. Those scholarships changed students' lives. So thank you for that. Access has also expanded, as we talked about, through the early college program that Ava just mentioned and Commissioner Grasso just mentioned. And we're delighted to continue our homeschooling program in Calvert County. We are also committed to supporting our recent adult education diploma completers of the Maryland Diploma Program and helping them maintain their momentum. So last fall, these graduates received a $500 scholarship through our foundation. So every adult education graduate gets a $500 scholarship. It's our way of saying we are proud of you and we want to rally around you to continue your studies here, and we'll support you and invest in you in continuing to do that. We also realize, as I mentioned, that momentum sometimes is lost, or retention, not just because of what happens in the classroom, but outside of the classroom. So we hired a student needs and outreach coordinator to serve as a liaison between our students and the many wraparound services available to them not just at CSM, but also from our community partners. So this includes helping our students with textbook fees, housing, food insecurities, clothing, childcare, or any other type of social services resource. We continue to partnership with the Maryland Food Bank for our walk-in pantries at all of our campuses to help students who experience food insecurities. And then we accept food drive donations, and through a partnership with Farming for Hunger, are now able to distribute seasonal, fresh produce to our students and the community. I'm pleased to also share that CSM and Charles County government joined to begin a new bus route that transports students to the front doors of CSM Center for Trades and Energy Training and the Center for Health Sciences at the college's regional Hughesville campus. We did not have transportation going to that particular site, and students were having to walk to the Shell gas station on the corner to catch a bus. So that was a serious concern for ours. So now this new, what we're calling CSM Connector bus, joins the existing bus lines between Calvert, Charles, and St. Mary's counties and assists students as they move between CSM campuses via quicker routes. So we provide free and dependable transportation through that agreement with Charles County. We're also excited for the growth of our cybersecurity immersive labs, one of which is now at the Prince Frederick campus. So we opened up a new cyber lab there this past fall, thanks to a partnership with the Patuxent Partnership. And also we have renovated and expanded the one at the Leonardtown campus, also showing our investment in our future workforce. We're grateful for the ongoing commissioner support for the College of Southern Maryland, especially during the past 3 weeks, as we've opened our legislative session during the 2024 Maryland General Assembly. As we look ahead, some issues we're focusing on collectively and on behalf of our 16 community colleges, I want to share with you, and one surrounds the CATE funding formula. I heard you guys talking about that a little bit earlier. Our first priority is supporting the Maryland Association of Community Colleges that we call MAC. Our operating request at the state level is to fully fund the CATE funding formula at 29%. Fully fund. And that's because our enrollment statewide is up 8%, and we've been very fortunate at CSM since January for our enrollment to be up for the first time in years. Okay, so we need resources now more than ever, and we appreciate your support of that 29% proposal for CADE funding. We're also asking our legislator to expand the facilities renewal grant for community colleges. So all 16 colleges will have access to these funds every year. CSM and all of Maryland's community colleges strive to keep up with deferred maintenance costs, repairs across all of our campuses. So expanding this facility renewals grant, doubling that, will allow us to meet our critical infrastructure needs. We've also asked our legislators to fund tuition waivers. So these are often designed to help certain unique and underserved populations, but they should not be at the expense of our currently enrolled students. At CSM, our current yearly waiver average is more than $865,000, and prior to the pandemic, it was more than $1 million. So we want the state to fully fund that for us to help support students in that category. And finally, an area to support mobility is through addressing our cyber workforce shortage. So as I engage with our partners, two of the key areas that I would hear is healthcare and IT. So we have a cybersecurity program that's designated by the Department of Homeland Security and the National Security Agency as a Center of Academic Excellence in Cyber Defense for 2-year programs. That is a very unique designation, and we're proud to have it. Our computer science programs follow the Association for Computing Machinery curriculum guidelines, and at the state level, MAC, the Maryland Association of Community Colleges, is seeking $5 million to expand and implement new cybersecurity training through scaling best practices, and this action will give all 16 community colleges the ability to play a critical role in addressing this workforce shortage. There are several other areas that I want to note that wasn't a part of our statewide legislative agenda, but that we are focusing on as an institution and stressing really their importance for us. And one of those is campus safety. During Convocation in August, we focused on campus safety with presentations by our local law enforcement, some of whom are right here in Calvert County, came and spent time with us on that August to help with training and sessions. And we did breakout sessions with our faculty and staff to make them more familiar with our CSM Safe app and other safety protocols. We will be addressing campus safety presence at all of our campuses. We're assessing it and identifying how we can continue to expand measures and tools and training to make sure we keep our students and our employees safe. We're also looking at supporting our changing demographics in the Southern Maryland region. This includes how to expand our bilingual presence as we prepare and position all of our Southern Maryland residents for the workforce. These will be areas that you'll hear more about going forward, and we'll fold these into our new strategic plan. As I close, I just want to share that the state of the College of Southern Maryland is stronger and better than ever. And we remain steadfast in our commitment to partner with all of you to ensure that we have a strong workforce pipeline in our Southern Maryland region and that every one of our students has an opportunity to support themselves and their families. Thank you, Commissioners, for your support, your steadfast support over the years. We could not be where we are without you. And we really asked someone yesterday, I have an opportunity to present at a conference, and we were talking about how the shift in higher education has caused us to think very differently about the programs and services we offer. We are raising a generation and supporting a generation that's been used to digital technology in a way that perhaps our parents and grandparents were not. And they are accustomed to having more flexible, nimble resources. So it's not just courses, it's online advising, it's online tutoring, it's online counseling services. They are accustomed to being able to have things at 1 o'clock in the morning if they need it, or 2 o'clock in the morning if they need it, right? And taking classes in their pajamas if they want to, right? They're accustomed to that flexible offering. So what we've had to do as a higher education space, not just CSM but broadly, is think through how do we offer the best possible services online so that we're never sacrificing quality and that we're making sure that our students get the flexibility they desire and that they're requesting, because our online classes fill up in some sections quicker than our face-to-face, to be quite candid with you. And we have to make sure the quality is there, that our faculty and staff are adept at using technology tools, but everything from our e-textbooks are online now. We have to have an access code, and you probably have that a lot, maybe even in K-12 school systems, to being able to do group work online and connecting with your groups and classes, to being able to schedule an advising appointment to register for your classes online. So being able to offer both and has become increasingly more important. And we know that we have very large universities who offer only online courses. And one of our largest transfer partners is UMGC, University of Maryland Global Campus. They have more of our transfer students than any other transfer partner. We have over 300 articulation agreements. But students, our students, many of them have to work. And so what online instruction gives them is the flexibility of being able to work, because we have over 60% part-time students, so many of them are working. So give them the flexibility of working and still taking classes at the same time. And online helps them do that.
So is in-person enrollment up as well?
Yeah, so enrollment is up overall. So we don't necessarily segregate by online and face-to-face. Our enrollment is up holistically, and so we're glad about that.
You don't have a breakdown on?
No, but I can find out.
I was just
Yes, I'd be
curious.
happy to.
I didn't know what society that younger group was doing, if they
That's
were
a
actually
great
going to start
question.
coming back to school, or?
Yeah. Now, I'll tell you, by certain programs, it's more face-to-face, right? So for nursing, we have clinical experiences,
Correct. They have
right?
to be, right.
They have to be. Some of our skilled trades, they have to be. But when you think about transfer, which are like your Englishes and your histories and your psychologies and your maths, they can be online, and we have a large transfer population.
So,
Great question.
how do you balance what we see in the workforce today is, how do you balance providing this convenience aspect to this young generation and preparing them for a workforce where they have to show up to an office every day? Because we hear more and more where we interview people and they want to work from home because they're used to working getting their education in their pajamas and they don't want to leave home. But, you know, in the workforce, sometimes, you know, you have to show up to a work environment, and if you, you know, you have to have social skills in a work environment. And I guess my fear is that they're not, you know, you're not developing that while you're developing your education of, you know, this need for independence, but balancing that with the, you know, an employer's need to have you in a space and work with other people face to face, because it's different.
It is very different, and so one of the ways that we try to, I think, really emphasize the importance of being in person is through our work-based learning opportunities and our apprenticeship opportunities, right? That we are scaling up even more. We received a portion of a grant, a $1 million grant for youth apprenticeships, for example, okay? So we're trying to show students the value of being on the site, learning on the job, and how you can just really kind of strengthen your skill sets by being in person. And we hear that feedback from employers as well, right? How do they balance meeting the needs of an emerging workforce that's really kind of demanding more virtual and remote? We even have a teleworking policy at CSM, quite frankly. So the workforce is asking for more of that. So how do you balance and create a culture that still is supportive and connecting and allows for that meaningful kind of work experience while still accommodating the requests that you find with more and more employees? But our apprenticeships and our work-based learning opportunities and our clinicals allow students to see the value of going into the site, and that applying the skills that you learned is priceless, and you cannot mirror that in an online setting. And so we really do encourage students to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I would hope that, you know, my middle daughter did her entire college setting online. Never showed up to a course, had to take her to College Park to take tests once in a while. But I think I just read or saw somewhere that now they're starting to study this, and that people that actually show up in person have a greater rate of advancement than those individuals that work from home. Because you don't develop those skills. And I just hope that in your curriculum that there is emphasis on making sure that at least at some point they all have to bring together and work together on projects, because that's the skill that we develop.
That is exactly
throughout.
right.
Even
and
helping
that's
with the
critical.
interview
Those soft
process.
skills are critical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I'm sorry.
I said even helping with the interview process, just those skills and being able to communicate.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. That's a common thing we hear from employers, right? We need students who are able to communicate well and work well with others and be able to problem solve and critically think and all of those things. And so it is definitely a tension that we're feeling, and how do you accommodate the requests of the students at the same time equip them for the workforce that's demanding something very different. Yeah, and finding a way to find the sweet spot to do both.
New curriculum changes coming in the future?
So that's a really good question. So we are always in conversations with our faculty, of course, who are excellent resources around that. And we're always thinking through with our university partners what classes are a seamless transition for transfer in particular. So we actually have a few recommendations that are coming before our board in our upcoming meeting in February, where we recognize that maybe this general education course is a better fit than this one, and it allows for more seamless partnering and transitioning and transferring for students. But we never want is for students to take classes and they're not able to transfer those classes. As far as our workforce development pieces, we're always evolving with our IT programs. Okay, so we had a couple of data science is kind of how we shifted to our IT pathways and emerging those, so we're always looking at that. We're considering a couple of health science programs. We've been in really strong conversations actually with Jeremy at Calvert Health. Had one about a week or so ago, looking at some healthcare needs they have and standing up some new healthcare pathways for them, and looking at them with MedStar and some others, and thinking that through, because we know that there are quite a few shortages in that healthcare piece. One of the areas that we're looking at, to be specific, is we have our nursing pathway, and we have our LPN, which is our licensed practitioner nursing kind of pathway. And that's been folded into our ADN pathway, which is our associate degree nursing. We're trying to decouple that so that our LPN will be a separate pathway. It's a shorter pathway, allow students who perhaps do not want to pursue the 2-year degree be able to get the LPN. Now it's folded in, and because of accreditation purposes, it's not easy to decouple, but because of the healthcare needs, they have more of a demand for LPNs than they have historically. Historically, you had to have an ADN to be able to get jobs. Now, because there's such a great demand, they'll take LPNs and ADNs. So we're looking at how we can create 2 distinct pathways for both of those. So that is just one of many examples, but we're looking at some more healthcare pathways and looking at some expansion of our IT footprint.
So we've talked in the past about your involvement with CTA. Has that gone anywhere as far as that relationship, or maybe CTA being full and the ability to send some of those students in your direction, or?
So we are open tremendously to that possibility, and we have another county partner who's entered an agreement with us, who's actually going to be busing some students in the fall to our skilled trades center.
Good.
And our health sciences center for that very reason, looking at 3 pathways right there in that Reggie Hughesville because of the capacity issue. So we're open to that. That can be a model for some of our other county partners who might be interested in that, but we are already in dialogue and conversations about how we can make that work. And that, of course, supports, as you know, the blueprint requirement. So it's a win-win on that
Good.
case,
Glad
too.
to hear.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. How does CSM fit into the blueprint?
So the conversations we've had around the blueprint, thank you for the question, revolves primarily around the advising piece of that. So we entered into an agreement with all 3 counties, conversations with Andre Townsend, Scott Smith, and Maria Navarro, that they would have their, I guess you would say, career advisor or their advisor per county, and we would have one at CSM that helps students map the plan out and kind of helps create a connective tissue between the K-12 system and CSM so the transition is seamless, and helping them with their courses and helping advise them, et cetera. So our contact at CSM would work with their respective county contacts to help students with the academic planning portion of that, make sure they're taking the right things at the right time. In addition, I mentioned that one superintendent we're entering into an agreement with, or have, that they will bus their students to us for the fall to help support their blueprint expansion as well. So our conversations have primarily centered around those advisors working together to make sure students develop an academic plan and pathway that they can follow that meets the blueprint requirements. But we're in constant conversations, so it's not a one and done. As you know, this is an evolving opportunity for all of us to think this through. And so CSM really stands at the ready to support all of my superintendent colleagues. You saw them in the videos. Thank the world of each one of them. They're doing phenomenal work. And we're here to support in any way that we can, because we know there's a lot of pieces to the blueprint, and so we're here to support whatever we can do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more question. Are there plans to have access off of 231 to the new CSM campus? Is that a plan in the future, or?
Not currently. It's not one of our imminent plans, no,
Okay.
no.
Just curious. We've talked about it earlier and figured I'd ask you.
Yeah, no.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I was
Thank
really
you.
glad to hear that our scholarship program was successful.
It was amazingly successful, and, you know, I'll just say that we're always open to other scholarship opportunities. So, you
I
know,
walked right into
we
that.
are always open, and we are just so grateful for any scholarship opportunities or funding that you would like to present to us. We would not turn a single penny down.
And we strongly support the regional community college system. We think that we are stronger united than we are divided.
Definitely.
We do too.
So, you know, we're going to work towards that goal and hopefully defeat that legislation. We will.
Well, thank you so much for your support for that. Thank you so much for that, because that is firmly where our board stands and where we stand, and we know we are stronger together, and when we go together, we'll go far. So thank you for that.
I brag to everyone how wonderful of a community college system we have here in Southern Maryland. It's so good.
Thank you.
So we greatly, and Ava, we want to commend and congratulate you. You know, and the choices you've made, you set yourself on a great
Yes.
path forward. And I'm sure your parents are very proud and thankful for the money you're saving them, because through that.
I'm sure they're proud of other things too.
My online daughter saved me a lot of money, so she had a very good wedding. But really want to wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you.
Because I'm sure you'll do well. And again, it's great to have you. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure working with all of you. Thank you for your support.
Absolutely.
Thank you for just rallying around CSM. We couldn't do the work we do without all of you, so thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your
Thank you for your
leadership.
support today.
Absolutely. I believe that brings us to public comment.
Thank you, sir. The board adopted a resolution in 1989 intending to maintain the order and decorum of the governmental process. A copy is found here to my right. By Resolution 51-20, persons are welcome to address the Board of County Commissioners on any matter germane to the business of county government. Persons addressing the board shall refrain from statements, remarks, or conduct that is uncivil, rude, vulgar, profane, or otherwise disruptive to the conduct of the board's business. All speakers are asked to identify themselves, and whether speaking as an individual, will you be allocated 2 minutes, or as the appointed spokesperson of a group, will you be allocated 5. For those that we don't have anybody attending virtually, and the Ethics Commission has asked that we remind speakers of public comment that lobbyists include those who seek to influence public policy, and lobbyists must register in advance.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Joseph Cormier. I'm going to take my union hat off this morning and speak to you on behalf of CCAC. So, Mr. County Attorney, if you can put 5 minutes on the timer for us today. As some of you know, I recently lost my Pepe, my grandfather. Donald Cormier was born in 1929. His older brother fought in World War II and himself a veteran of the Korean War. He married my grandmother, and they were married for 70 years, and he was a third-degree Knight of Columbus, and he was a huge part of my youth and into my adult life. And as I ponder all the changes he saw in his lifetime, I can't help but wonder if public education was one of the ones that changed the most. Donald entered his first school in the early 1930s, a whites-only Catholic school in southern Maine. The same time frame as Harriet Elizabeth Brown was fighting for equal pay for African-American teachers, and the one-room Wallville School was still active in pre-segregation Calvert County. He would tell us how the nuns would rap the boys on their knuckles with a ruler or have them kneel in silent prayer. There were no boys like my son in his class. No children in wheelchairs, no children with physical impairments or developmental disabilities, no black or indigenous or children of color. At that time, schools were under no mandate to allow every student with special education needs to attend classes. By 1943, he had dropped out of 8th grade to work to support his family after his father passed away. Had he stayed in school, he would have graduated before Ruby Bridges was bused to an all-white William Frantz Elementary School and before the last class of the William Sampson Brooks High School graduated in 1966. Donald saw the civil rights movement followed by the passing of the Education for All Handicapped Children Act by President Gerald Ford in 1975, and for the first time the federal law required all states that accepted money from the government to provide equal access to education for children with disabilities, later expanded to include children ages birth to 3. The law was vague, it didn't have any funding mechanism for the states, and it didn't give parents much input. In 1986, I was 5 years old, President Reagan signed the Handicapped Children's Protected Act, now known as IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, a law that gave parents of children with disabilities more say in the development of their children's education. Something my son uses today to access the curriculum and receive the support of his disability. I say all this because sometimes as a society we get stuck in the present dealing with the current crisis, the current budget, the status quo, and think that education's always been that way. The experiment that is public education as we know it is really less than 100 years old, just 3 generations of my family. It's been 75 years since we integrated by race, less than 50 since we started construction that allowed the inclusion of the physically impaired with elevators, ramps, and sidewalk cutouts, and 25 since we really started providing inclusion supports for autism, ADHD, and emotional and behavioral issues. I don't know any school system, large or small, that has it all figured out. We have to keep trying, keep innovating, and sometimes that's messy and sometimes it doesn't work. I can tell you from personal experience and the experience of the parents and staff who support CCAC, our teachers and support staff are stretched thin as it is. Roofs and HVAC and windowsills need constant upkeep, but so do the men and women who come in every day to give their all for our students. I've never walked into a building and seen thumbs twiddling in the wind. We've seen other counties put forth budget proposals this year that cut funding to sports, arts, music, even their library specialists. I'm asking you to be leaders in the state, show the other boards at MACO what a quality public education looks like. I want to see the school system partnered with Parks and Rec, DPW, the Sheriff's Office, Planning and Zoning, and every other lever of the county government for job training, civics education, and environmental sciences. As Dr. Townsville says, we can raise the bar. Right now, Calvert CCAC is hosting a book study on the Saturdays. The book is Lost at School by Dr. Ross Green, and Director Anderson, the Director of Special Education, is hosting them Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. online. It's called Coffee with Kendies. We hope you'll join us. We had a really great discussion last week, and we've had more parents and staff join, and we're going to keep pushing the Ross Green program for kids with behavioral challenges that are falling through the cracks and how we can help them. So anything that we can do, if there's more information you need or anything we can provide, please reach out to Calvert CCAC. We appreciate your support. We look forward to having someone from your board or a representative join us at our annual CCAC Awards. And in May, when we have the inclusive track and field event through Calvert County Public Schools, it's always a great time. We truly appreciate everything you do for us and for the students. The last thing I'll close with is I talked to some homeschool families, and the schools used to be able to provide speech and OT and PT to the kids who are homeschooled, but we just don't have the staff to do it anymore. So I hope that you'll work with the health department and the College of Southern Maryland to try and find ways that we can meet the needs of those kids who are homeschooled, who aren't part of the public school system, because those kids are just as deserving of all the early intervention supports. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Give a date and location for your CCAC Awards?
It's going to be Wednesday, April 17th at Huntingtown High School this year. And I've got it on Super Katie's calendar for you guys. So we look forward to having you out there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That appears to be all.
That brings us to Commissioner reports. Commissioner Cox?
Thank you, Mr. President. Got another prayer list here for you. We lost a Prince Frederick icon this weekend, Chester Smith, longtime postal employee, and Kenneth Ogden, and huge name in the Prince Frederick community. So please keep the Smith family in your prayers, please.
Commissioner Harlan?
Echoing that, Chester was a very, very hard-working, kind person. He did a lot of work for a lot of people. He bought Harold Benton's old house right by the fairgrounds, and he set up a small shop and worked out of there for probably the last 15, 20 years, if I had to guess. Just a wonderful person. Very sad to see him gone.
Yep.
Safe travels for everybody traveling. That's all I have.
Commissioner Grasso?
On the 24th of this month, I attended an in-person MACO meeting, and afterwards they had a legislative reception at O'Brien's, which is always a good time, and we had a going-away party. I didn't. I attended it and read the proclamation for our Parks and Rec Director, Shannon Nazal. She's going to be missed, but she's in Chicago, started her new job.
Windy.
Windy.
They're windy.
Cold.
Thank you. So, excuse me, that concludes, I really don't have anything to report today. So, does anyone have a motion? Oh, I do need to remind you, February is Black History Month. Please take a moment during the month and remember the contribution that the African American community has made to this county and this country. So please don't forget that.
Okay. I move to recess to executive session pursuant to general provisions, Article Sections 3-305B, 1I, to discuss such matters with employees over whom the board has jurisdiction as is allowed by law. 3, to consider acquisition of real property for a public purpose and matters directly related thereto.
Second.
I have a motion and a second that we move into executive session. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Everybody have a great day.